I mean, I can do it if you want, but you know, doesn't matter to me, I guess. I have the drive up, so
I have it. Yeah, I have it as well. So I think I
I
am
have
set on the
decent
models.
Helio viewer imagery up now too,
Okay,
so we
okay.
can browse that at least.
sure.
Okay. We are officially live. I am I'm going to try to bring up it on my phone here, so in case we get any questions, um, come in.
Love the hat, by the way.
Yeah. I know, I'm trying to be festive, like Christmas and stuff. It's the whole Christmas cheer. So, okay. You know, this is our Christmas present. Somebody wanted Aurora for Christmas, I guess, and now we have a couple CMEs, so there's that.
Oh, I hope they turn into something.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not
I just
very
hope the clouds
confident.
go away.
Yeah, we do have a
Let's
lot of
see.
cloud cover issues, so I don't know how.
J Helio viewer imagery is not up to date for the current Flare and CME, so I will
Okay.
not have that,
All right.
sadly.
Sadly, but that's okay. Okay. So slide deck, I guess I will bring that up on mine. Okay, maybe. Maybe. All right. So anyway, welcome in and Merry Christmas Eve.
Eve
With
Eve. Yep.
but for anybody watching in the Southern Hemisphere, they're Christmas Eve because it's Tuesday there. So, you know, timey-wimey things. But anyway, so this is a little impromptu get together because we have things that we thought were worth talking about. And a couple CMEs, and then we just had another flare from the same region. Same sort of propagation from the first one, so most of it being pushed south. However, we don't have this just happened, so we don't really have much to go off of right now. So we'll get into the current event, which is what was the thing? An M9 earlier?
Yep.
8.9.
Nearly R3.
Yeah, it was very close-ish to an X class flare. So and it looked pretty far, like things were pushed south, but we have multiple agencies. Some are more generous than others, like saying that this could hit anywhere from like I think Hux is at 30%, but we'll get into that as we talk about it. So I will bring up I don't have my double screen, so I'm trying to navigate here. So you're going to see a Zoom screen until I can get my internet up to get to the drive. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's do um okay, a little slideshow. Okay, so you guys can see this okay, right? Okay.
Yep. Looks good.
Yay, so yes, we have an M8 flare to talk about. Here's some a nice little loop of what it looked like. And you can actually see in here
Nice
that
plumes.
it's pretty obvious this had a CME component to it. But based on that plasma that you see let me bring my mouse up here right here. But even looking at that image, you can tell that this is mostly a southern trajectory. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where we were. This is the LASCO imagery of it, and even here you can see that a bulk of it is going south. I know there was some talk about it being a partial halo because you can see some like kind of outlines up here. However, there were multiple things going on at the same time, and when you put this into motion, you can actually see the different speeds of these events as they were popping off. So the consensus is this main southern component here. That doesn't mean doesn't have an Earth directed component to it. It's just not, as centrally, what I want to say, centrally shot out at us, for lack of better terms. So, okay, now we can get into the modeling. And if
Sure.
so
So as usual, this modeling was not easy, which is typical for Solar Max. The region is still not quite in the central location, so it was coming more from the periphery. It's aiming a little bit toward the center, but unfortunately, it's mostly south-directed. And because of the compound events, in addition to all the usual uncertainties, which is we don't really know what ambient solar wind is up to, and we have difficulties estimating CME speed on a good day because when we look at the CME, we see it spreading in the areas in the direction away from Earth. We don't really see anything that's aimed straight at us to measure the velocity. So this is just estimate at best, and we know CMEs do not propagate evenly in all directions, and this CME is pretty much case study for this. So CME direction was challenging to determine because stereo A is not available. We're going from basically 2D images of the CME spread in LASCO, C2 and C3, and the CME speed. This is what the forecasters had to deal with in terms of CME speed because again, it's a compound event, so several CMEs are being launched at the similar time. And when you try to measure it, well, good luck. You're going to get a speed you're going to go with, and you're going to plug it into model, and hopefully you get something that's going to be close to reality. So forecasters are really challenged by some of the events, and this just might be one of those. So as usual, if we can go to the next slide,
Yep.
M2M, Moon to Mars, NASA was on top of their game and they modeled it first. It was not a direct hit. So this first one is, yeah, it's the view from down looking at the North Pole right there. And you see CME kind of going in the ecliptic plane. So Earth is that nice yellow dot.
Right there.
And yep, right there. And it looks like it's a direct hit because it's hitting that CME. Most of that CME is hitting Earth. But when you look at this is north is on the top and south is on the bottom, and CME is going mostly south in this
There.
model. So we're getting a glancing blow at best from this one, at least in M2M modeling. Their ETA is Christmas
Yeah, very true.
sometime late Christmas Day, plus minus the usual 7 hours, but reality is probably more like 10 to 12 hours on either side. And geomagnetic storming, I'm not going to even go into this because we really do not know. If CME is coming on the earlier side of that window of prediction, that means it's going a little bit faster than was entered into the model. You can expect greater geomagnetic storming just because CME is kind of piling up a lot of magnetic field that's sitting in front of it, so you can expect a greater impact, maybe. But if it's on the slow side, you're not going to get that much of an impact. And that's on arrival. We really don't know whether or not we're going to see the core of the CME that also can have magnetic field that's favorable for Aurora and not so much for infrastructure. But that remains to be seen. So this is all pending L1 review, meaning we have to see what it looks like in space weather monitoring satellites before we start forecasting Aurora. All right.
All
We
right.
also had some fun with Huxt
Oh
for a
yeah.
couple of
Oh,
reasons. First of all, people who wanted to check it um, and who still want to check it out, Huxt is on vacation until the team is back from holiday because the university is basically shut down. There is nobody on campus. And if you look at it, I think current Huxt is stuck on about the 17th of December because there was a huge far-sighted CME that was going super fast. The speed was over 3,000. And that's a safety measure that's built into the code for Huxt. So if there is a CME that's traveling that fast, the team has to manually verify that speed before allowing Huxt to proceed with modeling. And that was the event on the far side that reached that speed and basically brought Huxt to a screeching halt. That's
sure.
why it's not updated. Um, Dr. Matthew Opens was kind enough on his break to actually check into the issue with Hux and post two models. One takes Met Office modeling, and the second one takes the M2M modeling. You see the difference in speed. It's relatively minor. Again, when we're talking about kilometers per second, it's pretty significant. But for CME, well, what we're talking about 40 kilometers per second, just under 40. But for faster CME, you see lower hit rate and you see obviously earlier arrival. There is a difference of about 2 hours and about 4%. Because CME, again, faster moving CME doesn't spread radially as much in all the directions. So you kind of get more of the narrow cone and it's going to arrive faster. But as a result, you also have higher uncertainty on a slower traveling CME because it might be easier to derail it in all sorts of different directions by all sorts of things that it has to encounter in space. So space traffic gets in the way. We do have, I might have to share that screen. We have
Right now.
modeling from SWIPSI.
Yeah, because this was the last slide in this, I think,
Yep,
right?
that was our slide
Oh,
because
yeah, we could go
that
back.
was yeah, so we can go to SWIPSI
Okay. So this,
and
because they're by far the more optimistic about this than any of them.
yeah, they fit the cone a little differently. So cone is
Whoa.
literally cone, how CME is going to propagate in space. So this one is a little wider, and as a result, you're seeing a slightly different pattern. So first of all, well, where's CME? There we go. So in ecliptic plane, so looking down from North Pole to South Pole, you see that it's kind of hitting very close to the center of that CME. And well, what is going on here? Okay, okay, don't fight me. So and the cone is going
Push with the kernel hole.
slightly again. The thought and the fit here is that it's gonna fit a little closer to the nose of the CME, even in sort of that coronal plane.
Yeah.
And story right there. So that's Earth, and that's the traveling CME. So it's not quite the glancing blow, it's more of the flank hit. Um, so that's where we at. Looking at additional models will give you a better picture of how uncertain different agencies are and how much of the disagreement you have. Will give you a better picture of just when it's going to hit. We're talking about probably later half of Christmas Day. Some models do indicate that it might arrive later, so day after Christmas. When it's going to actually arrive, that's the only CME can tell us.
Yep.
We don't have it. This is the best we can do with the data that we have for modeling. So we have to wait for L1, and we do have another CME in transit at this point that was fired on the 20th. And we do have a kernel hole, as you can tell from this at least stream. But at this point, up until just recently, it's two CMEs that are flank to glancing blow in terms of hit, and one fairly, I would say, not high latitude, but mid latitude coronal hole. All of that does not equal direct hit. Did that change at all with the new CME that literally just fired? Well, shall we take a look?
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because now they have to model stuff again.
Yeah, and
So,
this is going to be challenging because again, you are now modeling what two CMEs and a coronal hole.
yeah. Yep.
That's not going to be easy. So that's the flare and that's the pattern of propagation. So it's very similar. Now the region is a little bit more centrally located, but it's propagating pretty much in the same direction.
Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
see that there wasn't a.
propagating south.
It doesn't look like there's much of an issue propagating east and west, so it's definitely at least west enough. But is it north enough?
Yeah, it's very similar to the first one. And it's funny because if you didn't realize the time like the timestamp on this, it looks pretty much like that first
It
one.
looks pretty identical. Yeah.
Mhm.
So so I imagine when they do the modeling for it, it'll probably be same type of deal.
So this is 195 angstrom and it shows dimming a little better and coronal wave. So we might be able to see something there.
Yeah, look at
Hmm,
that
It's still
mostly.
southern.
That's very
very
similar.
southern.
Yeah. It's almost the
So
same exact way. Yeah.
yeah. It's also less energetic, so potentially less of the material that left the sun. It might be propagating with slower speed, but we haven't seen chronographs yet, so we can't tell. Um, I don't know whether or not Stereo A is still on break, so to speak. There is a campaign, so there's no data that's available from it. We might be still limited to 2D chronographs and with nothing to triangulate and kind of correct the speed and correct trajectory.
So
It's
our
going to be
usual phrase,
challenging.
wait till L1, is even more relevant now.
Absolutely.
But at least it's something. I mean,
Yep.
the sun's been active. It's just been all in the wrong directions.
Yeah,
And
check out the sunspots.
yeah,
We got quite a bit of patterns around the southern hemisphere, and even a few in
uh,
the northern now.
we had that in that massive eruption last week, that 3,000 kilometer.
Which we should
Like,
start seeing over the
oh
next few
man,
days.
We
yeah,
are seeing it right here.
Ah, it is coming around.
the
It's
culprit.
pretty bright,
Well, what
131
we
already.
think might be the culprit. I mean,
Well,
it's stuff.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully it can do something, but it might be more of a higher complexity region because it was firing pretty energetic eruptions.
Hmm.
It's fun.
Yay, Solar Max. So anyway,
Yay, exactly. So the summary, very sun is active. We have moderate uncertainty and low probability of arrival. We have very high uncertainty in geomagnetic forecast.
yeah, I
So
think,
if
and I think it's all over. What is it? What did M2M say? Possible like I think Swipsy won G1, right?
SWIPSy posted G1 watch, M2M modeling is indicated up to G3,
Yeah, that's what
which
I thought.
is very generous.
Very
But
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of things coming.
happening all at once.
So it's
yep,
Compound
like
events are, of course, difficult to say anything for, so we kind of just have to wait and see.
story of our life. Wait and see.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Here's a prep warning that stuff is happening.
yep.
Pretty much.
And
That's it.
if you see people comparing it to May eruption, because we also with May storm, because we saw several eruptions that kind of piled up into one. This is not May
Nowhere
storm.
close. Not even
No,
close. Yeah. We
no,
could see two more of these in the next 12 hours and it still wouldn't come close.
no, because they're all gonna probably be that southern trajectory. So it's like it's just not aimed correctly.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to correct the aim on that.
Correct the sites, please. Get a new sun.
Get a
Get
new
the better
sun.
aiming system.
So anyway, I don't know, that's the update. We felt this was appropriate to do. It's enough, it's generating enough talk on the internet that we figured it was warranted to do. I know everybody's all up in it, like, because it'd be cool to get Aurora on Christmas and because the magic of the season, I guess. I should be like more, festive about it. And I am wearing a hat, so there's that.
That
But
counts. Now, if we
but
could have some snow, that would be nice.
yeah, that's the other problem, and I haven't really got into that, is like check your local forecast. I was gonna bring up windy because like maybe I'll do that while I'm still here. Because it's looking kind of um mm, dismal, should I say, for a lot
Accurate.
of us. Hold on, let me exit full screen. Okay, let's go. I think I have it up here. Somewhere. There it is, windy. Um, yeah, where's my clouds? I always say again, I'm used to my double screen now, so I have to like move things around. So let's see, what are we on? This should be the European, I think. Yeah, ECWMF. Um,
I see a
oh,
black screen.
oh,
Hmm.
black screen. What? Okay. My screen is paused. Why is it paused? Okay, let me try this again. All right, let me try it. You'd think I would remember how to do this. Like, you get so used to just things.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so this should be the European model.
Holy clouds.
Yeah, let me see if I can zoom out so we can get more of the US in here. So I'll be more there we go. There we go. Maybe we'll put Canada in there too. Um, so this is right now. So let's go to like tomorrow night. Um, because it gets, of course, I moved my thing. But I mean, there's holes. So it's not like it's totally out of the question, but you're gonna be chasing holes. like holes in the clouds, it looks like, because it's just kind of parked. And if you even go into tomorrow night, it's kind of the same deal. So this is another one that's this is probably more of a problem than any of the space weather stuff, at least for us over here. Um, because if you have full on overcast, you're not going to really see anything. I mean, it's up for debate. This gets debated a lot on the internet about seeing aurora through the clouds, and you can if it's partly cloudy or there's
If you have
holes.
holes where you can see skies, I don't
Yeah,
think there's much of a
you
debate.
can.
Clouds can easily wash out a weak aurora. The
Yeah,
end.
and again, if it's strong, like you might get the green, you might get green clouds, but
Photographically, maybe.
like who wants some pukey green clouds? I don't know.
If it's Halloween, I'll take it. But
I mean, green would be the right color for Christmas too. Here's your green clouds. But I don't know. With it being a glancing, with a multiple glancing, I don't even know if it would get to that point. So anyway, that's the quick and dirty with the weather. It's just it's typical December blah around here. To put it nicely, it's just cloud cover forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, it seems.
at least
So
until April or May.
yeah, so wherever you're at locally, just make sure you check your local weather too before committing to anything, because we don't want people driving for hours and under cloud cover and on a chance to see something, but you get blocked by Mother Nature's other thing. So that's that. Anyway, I don't know. I think that's all we have. So
Yep.
yeah. So I just want also for anybody watching, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that fun stuff. This was very impromptu. Maybe we'll do another one towards the end of the week after Christmas with more of a topic to discuss, because we were going to talk about filaments and streamer blowouts, which are interesting. So maybe we'll do that this weekend. Something to do for everybody. But we wanted to get this out first and foremost. So hopefully you find it a little helpful, maybe. And if you do go out, like if you do got clear skies and chase it, best of luck. If not, enjoy the holidays with everybody. That's the name of the game anyway. So yay. So anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Happy holidays.
Yes,
Happy
happy.
holidays!
And we'll catch you later this week, probably.